I made this never-ending Battle Royale game in under 72 hours for a game jam. I didn't have a lot of time to make it, so attempting to build a Battle Royale was definitely a decision, but luckily things ended up clicking and I was able to get the core experience together before the deadline. The game ended up being pretty fun, and it actually tied for first place, which awarded $1,000. Now my plan is to fully finish it and make it way better, so stick around to the end if you want to see where I plan to take it. Now when setting off to build this, I had two real big challenges. One, I only had 3 days to make a full Battle Royale, and two, it needed to be hop in and play friendly, since matchmaking for Battle Royales without a big audience is kind of terrible. That's when I started to imagine what a never-ending Battle Royale would look like. No matchmaking, no lobbies, just click play and you're in the game. You can hop right into the action. So what did I end up building? My game is called Sky King, and the rough concept was a hero-based Battle Royale inspired game where you're hopping around all these random sky islands, killing monsters and players to earn gold and unlock abilities, all in the attempt to be the one that is ultimately crowned the king at the end. Now you might ask, what do you mean by the end? I thought this was a never-ending Battle Royale. Well, it is and it isn't. It's never ending in that the gameplay never stops. Once you're in the world, you can keep playing as long as you want, but there are timed cycles, and at the end of each cycle, a player is crowned the Sky King, and then all progress is wiped, and after a brief delay, the next cycle begins. For a game built around sky islands, the first two things I needed to validate were the actual islands themselves, and also the movement mechanics. If I couldn't pull off a movement system that felt good with the right amount of mobility needed for hopping island to island, then this idea was just going to be dead in the water. The tricky part is that the game engine I'm using has a single endless terrain, so I couldn't really make true islands using the terrain system. Instead, I had to make the islands out of primitives and then apply materials and environment assets to them. The rocks were constructed out of custom geometry, and I had the agent create custom materials for them as well. After validating both the islands and the movement mechanics, next we had to start building the hero system and the combat. Cael was our first and only hero that made it into the game in time for the deadline. He is a wind mage whose main attack is windblade. It is mid-range, but its strength lies in its consistent damage and that it soft homes to targets. He also has a passive where he builds up momentum, and at max stacks has increased attack and move speed. He flies around on a cloud, which also refreshes one of his extra jump charges, and his heal skill also grants him an air shield that explodes at the end, knocking enemies back and dealing damage to them. Heroes in Sky King are meant to provide a baseline kit, but the full identity of your character each run comes from the abilities that you pick up in the world. This is meant to keep each cycle interesting and make it so that you're not always playing the exact same loadout. Now, PvP was a bit painful at first. There was a lot of networking issues and game mechanics that needed to be ironed out. As you can see here with the effects not properly rendering, some of them were persisting forever or not tracking to the player position correctly, and performance was also pretty bad at first. But eventually, I was able to get it to a point where it feels pretty smooth to engage in fights with other players. As you can see this next clip, the difference is quite night and day in terms of smoothness, and performance is actually even better now in the game than it was during these clips. By the way, if you want to try the game out, it's actually playable right now, and I'll pin a link to it in the comments below. And if you want to see more videos like these where I make new games or spins on existing games, then go ahead and leave a like and subscribe. So where do I plan to take the game? Ultimately, I want to keep it really simple. A lot of the fun in it currently is how simple it is for some quick hop and play action. You know, where you just fly around, killing some mobs, gaining power, and collecting gold, and hopefully if others are online, engage in some intense PvP fights too. Which, interestingly, while working on this, I've kind of discovered that just running around and killing mobs is quite fun just solo, which is kind of making me want to build a spin-off of this project where it's more of a longer form RPG where you just start in a hub and then venture out, flying around sky islands, and engage in sort of the same loop but more from a PvE perspective, and then add more layers to the progression system. I think that would actually be pretty cool, and if you agree or have other ideas for the current version of the game, just let me know below. Now, like I said, the goal is to keep it simple. So right now, the first big plan is to add more heroes, which I'm currently doing right now. I have a new hero in development. His name is Crag, and unlike Cael, he is more of a long-range bruiser type. His main attack lobs a big earth projectile that explodes in an AoE, but the catch is that it's slower and doesn't home to targets at all. His dash grants him a hardening buff that reduces the damage he takes for a short duration, and instead of riding a cloud, he rides an earth slab that he can activate again to slam to the ground, resulting in an explosion. And his heal skill grants him a stone skin effect, which makes him invulnerable to all damage and CC while channeling. I'm currently also adding more abilities to the game. This will increase the pool of abilities you can find out in the world and add more variety and randomness to your builds each cycle. Like, we have this earth theme skill which damages nearby enemies with stone spikes and stuns them. Then this mana sphere skill which is heavily inspired by Plunderstorm, where you channel an orb to power it up and it deals increasing damage and knockback to enemies it collides with based on how long it was channeled. I'm also currently working on making better looking versions of the islands. The current ones are made with simple primitives, but with the new ones I'm making them out of custom geometry with custom shaders. These look a lot more like real terrain with real terrain textures, but it's going to take some time to get it exactly right because I kind of like the size of the existing islands, so I need to make some that look good and feel good to play at a smaller size. Whereas these current ones, they kind of need to be big to look good, so that's something I'm still trying to iron out. But anyways, that's it for today's video. If you get a chance to try it out, let me know what you think. And as I said before, if you want to see more content like this, then go ahead and subscribe. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.